What's going on, guys? Your boy, Coach Anthony, trainer of champions. I work with world champions, former world champions, world title contenders, national amateur champions, Olympians, MMA fighters at the Bellator and the UFC level. You name them, I've worked with them, and now I'm here to work with you. Welcome to the Boxing Life Podcast. I'm Coach Anthony, professional boxing trainer. I've had the opportunity to work with world champions, former world champions, world title contenders, Olympians, UFC and Bellator fighters, and basically any kind of boxer you could think of. And I've dedicated most of my adult life to teaching the craft of boxing to any and everybody who wants to learn, whether it's in person, online. It's basically all I do is, and what I love to do is teach.
And I'm Eddie Chambers, man, better known as Fast Eddie Chambers, former world heavyweight title challenger, about 30 years experience in the sport. I've been in the ring with so many guys, man, so many legends, and I think with Ant, I got the perspective of a fighter, he got the perspective of a trainer, and I think we have a unique way of reaching the next generation of boxers. And just people are interested in the sport of boxing, and I think we can really do well with this here podcast.
All right, so what is the Boxing Life Podcast? Why are we here? This is something that I think that would be a really a dope twist, because I know a lot of people, they come to my YouTube channel looking for information. A lot of you guys who are watching this on YouTube, obviously you know that I've been teaching instructionals alongside Fast Eddie Chambers for probably a decade now. We've given out some really high quality, world-class information. I have a website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com, where we have courses where we've breaking down everything from the most basic fundamentals to, the more advanced stuff that I've worked with, with professional fighters, stuff that Eddie's actually done in the ring against world-class contenders. We've literally breaking it down step by step so people could go ahead and learn the craft at home. We decided to go ahead and come across, start this podcast. This is our first episode, right? So we're we look a little new at this, bear with us. I've never really sat down and done a podcast like this before, but this is basically something where we want to educate, and we want to go ahead and help you guys understand boxing from a perspective of what the training's about, the nutrition's about, the discipline's about, the mentality, the mindset that you need, overcoming wins and losses. Because I think even as a coach, if you're a coach watching this is something you can definitely benefit from. If you're an up-and-coming aspiring boxer, this is definitely something that you could benefit from. And, you're going to hear it from the perspective of a coach who's been in 11 world title corners already at this point in my career. Hopefully I get some more opportunities like that. And a former world title contender. And not only that, a guy who worked his way up to the world championship fight the hard way, the old school way, where he had to fight some of the best guys to get there. So we're going to basically hold nothing back. We're going to give you guys all the information that we know and, try to help you guys the best that we can. Today's topic and discussion, man, it's kind of crazy because we decided to do this now. So we're going to go right into what everybody's talking about. Let's just be honest, man. We got to talk about Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk 2. This is a highly anticipated rematch. Anybody who saw the first fight knows how exciting it was. Eddie, remember where we saw it? We was at the barbershop. Bro, we was getting that sharp line on our beards, and while they were getting their beards touched with some right hands. And let me tell you, man, that was a hell of a fight. Yeah. You're talking like the top of the sport. Now let's just talk about Oleksandr Usyk. Am I saying his name right?
Oleksandr Usyk. Yeah.
Usyk, yeah. Let's talk about him for a second, because I've been telling people this for a long time. I've been saying he has the best resume, in my opinion, right now in professional boxing. Like, if you really pay attention, if you really look at his resume, the people he's fought.
Okay, maybe with that, yeah.
I could pull it up.
The reason why I would argue a little bit, like if you look at you look at Terrence Crawford, you look at Inoue. Okay. They unified, I think, Inoue, 3 different divisions, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And I think Crawford was he 3 as well? So that's the only thing. It's different for a heavyweight, though. A heavyweight can, well, and he was a cruiserweight first, but a heavyweight can only really unify his division. So, but he came from cruiser, so he unified the cruiser and the heavy division. So,
hold on, now I'm not trying to I just wanted to bring this up real quick because this is why I say, okay, so let's just say we started somewhere around, I don't know who this guy is, but he had a good record. Pedro Julio Rodriguez. Okay. 22-1. Not sure who that is. Do you know who this is? I can't pronounce his name.
Oh, Krzysztof Glowacki. Yeah.
Was he a good fighter?
Yeah. He was
26-0, world champion, beat him. A guy that you shared the ring with.
Yeah. He beat him, Machuno,
He beat Machuno. Look, this is how you know you're in a real podcast. Eddie fought this guy, okay?
I should have beat him, too.
Right after that, he fought Michael Hunter.
Yeah.
Up-and-coming prospect. Yeah. From him, after that, he fought Marco Hunt.
Michael Huck.
Okay. From there, then he fought
Maurice Bradis, another top guy.
23-0. From there, he fought
Murat Gassiev. Gassiev is another top guy.
26-0.
Number 2 in the division.
From there, he fought
Tony Bellew, my guy. Yeah.
From there, he fought our man,
Chaz Witherspoon. And that was his introductory fight as a heavyweight too. So
and Chaz Witherspoon used to come to my gym all the time to spar Eddie. Back in about 2015 that
something
was.
Like that.
Back when Eddie picked up a couple of fights, and Chaz Witherspoon, I got the honor to watch them spar and work Eddie's corner while he sparred him. From there, he went to who?
Derek Chisora. Which was a hard fight for him too, by the way. That wasn't no easy fight. Even Chaz gave him work too, but Derek Chisora really was on his case.
From there, Anthony Joshua twice.
Yeah.
2 W's against Anthony Joshua.
Yep.
From there,
then Daniel Dubois. And then Tyson.
And then Tyson Fury, who's arguably the best heavyweight that we've seen since Klitschko. Yeah. Matter of fact, he is the best heavyweight that we've seen since Klitschko.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good point. He got a hell of a resume.
Who got a better? You're telling me Terrence Crawford got a better resume than that? No disrespect to Crawford, big fan, but
if you know the fighters, if you pay attention to the fight, if you know what the guys that he fought from 135 to 147 and then now up to 54, he's still undefeated. Going up there, he got a lot of fights, I don't know. It's a hard thing to say.
It's hard.
It's a little difficult, and then.
But it's still, to say the least, a very impressive.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then to end it with a Tyson Fury,
who's arguably up to that point probably the best heavyweight in the last 20 years or so.
20?
With Vladimir, and Vitaly, yeah. So yeah, it's like.
And a guy who Eddie spent. How long were you with Tyson?
I was over there for about a year.
You was with Tyson. So he spent the whole year sparring Tyson Fury, training with the Tyson Fury camp. So before we talk about our predictions, what we see, I mean, obviously we just gave a lot of praise to Usyk. Now we got to give some praise to Tyson Fury. You're a guy who's actually been in camp with Tyson Fury. So I know you're biased already. You always root for Tyson no matter what.
Gotta be honest to it.
Which is okay. It's okay to be biased for your peoples in boxing. Boxing's a very lonely sport, and when you got a couple of good friends in the sport, it's always nice to support them no matter what. However, you're a person who sparred him hundreds of rounds, who trained with him. Tell us a little bit about Tyson Fury, what it's like to be in camp with him. I don't know if you've seen him as of recent, but he definitely looks like he's dropped a couple of pounds for this fight. But what is it about Tyson that makes him a special fighter besides from what we already know skill-wise, skill set-wise, and him obviously being damn near 7 foot if he is 7 foot.
Well, he's 6'9",
6'9". Okay, yeah. So tell us a little bit about Tyson.
Well, one of the first things that I noticed when I got out there, and I thought, when I was going out there, I was about 195 pounds and kind of chubby when I went out there because of what my diet was at the time, and I was playing a lot of basketball. But when I went out there, I immediately found out how hard they worked. I thought that it was going to be, peaches and cream being over there and working with heavyweights because I just didn't think they would be able to keep up with me. Man, I was so wrong. That was so wrong. They was training 3 times a day. They were running crazy miles, doing these crazy exercises, the weights, then the sparring sessions.
Well, hold on. Let's give them a little gift, right? To the people, to the viewers, for you guys tuning in. Give them a plan. What does Tyson do? Give us a step by step, for the people at home who want to try the Tyson Fury routine. Give
Good
it
luck.
to them. Give them the routines because
Good
we're going into
luck.
the new
Good
year. I know
luck.
these guys want some new routines. Give them a routine.
Okay.
How many miles? What days? What was like? Give us 1 week. Just give us a week structure.
Well, I'll say this. I meant when I said the running, I mean the running is something that is done a certain way. It's not like we're literally getting out, like I said, running miles all the time. Like it was like every once in a while there would be a workout we would do that would involve a lot of distance running. But on a regular situation, first of all, like I said, we train 3 times a day. And when we were in France, because we started out in France, we would train 3 times a day, 5 days a week, and twice on Saturday.
3 times a week. Okay, so can you run us down? Like
Yeah.
what's the daytime? What's the what time are you waking up in the morning? What time are you doing your second workout? Like give some structure. People want structure.
First thing I had, got up at 6 in the morning, we take the shake. That's the first thing. Before we even go out, we went after
what's the shake? What's the shake?
The shake was I think a protein, but with carb based. It was a
Because
carb based protein.
You got pretty brolic out there.
Crazy. It was crazy.
We're gonna have a picture. Maybe the picture's already up here. I'm gonna have my guy put a picture of Eddie when he was out there. Eddie was jacked.
It was crazy.
What was in that shake, bro?
Just protein, my brother, and no carbs, you know. I was on my macros. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't ask too many questions, man. You know what I'm saying? No, but it was the first thing you did, take the shake when we got up. We'd even be able to go back to sleep for a little bit or rest for a little while till about 7:30, 8 o'clock. We would get out, and then we would do, in France, we would do our cardio thing first because of we were sharing a gym at the time. So we would do our cardio first, which could be the devil's stairs, I'll say, going down. But anyway, this one was actually going up. And I'm going to tell you, it almost seemed like it was a mile of stairs going up. And I'm thinking, all right, well, we sprinting the steps kind of, or like running at a fast pace or whatever. And then we'll stop when we, get a rest after. Nah. We literally ran up and down them steps without stopping. Now, if the first one I ran up, I'm jetting. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I'm light. I'm faster than everybody. I'm sprinting up that step. I'd lead them by almost half a mile. And then I keep going. I get to about 5, and I'm like, yo, why haven't we stopped yet? He's like, oh, no, we go to 10. I'm like, you go to 10? You serious? You go to 10? By the 7th one, and I never stopped running. I never quit. I don't care how tired I get. I'll even if I got to not walk, but even if I got to jog real slow, I'll still keep moving. First time ever, I stopped. Bro. And I was like, man, what's going on? I didn't know that we were supposed to keep going. And then at the end, he was like, that's all right, man. It's your first day. He let me go. It's cool. You just relax. Then we go do the weight workout. The weight workout was intense. Now, keep in mind, none of the workouts, the only workout that takes more than an hour, which was about an hour and a half, is the boxing workout because, you're doing a lot of focused work. We had about 4 or 5 different guys in the gym at once. But everything was 40 minutes to an hour max. Okay. But the intensity was incredible. I've never been a part of a workout, even with my dad. My dad was a maniac in the gym and would have us do all kind of crazy workouts, but there's nothing I've done in my life compared to that. It was so tough, and there were certain workouts we did. We'll talk about it another time, but there were certain workouts I did that had me really questioning whether I wanted to stay. And I never quit anything in my life, but I was really considering quitting over there.
Okay, so you was waking up 6 in the morning, drinking the secret shake. Then
wait, hold up. But after every workout, I used to say secret shake. That making people think. But anyway, after every workout or while you're doing every workout, you take our BCAAs. Okay. Making sure we was doing that.
Okay, so you're drinking the protein.
And the BCAAs. And the protein was after, the BCAAs was during. Most of the time you take,
the amino acids.
Yeah, and then, you take the shake after. We had to do that after every workout.
So you were drinking a shake after every workout and the BCAAs during the workout?
Every workout.
Every workout.
Okay,
so that's 3 times a day you're drinking 3 shakes a day.
Now, keep in mind, that's just that. We still got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and another meal after that.
This is the heavyweight division,
yes,
though. These guys can eat, all right? They're the lucky guys. They're the ones who can actually enjoy.
No, hold up. We got to think about this before we say the lucky guys. To a degree, yes. We don't got to worry about weight, so we do have the ability to kind of eat what we want to a degree. I was eating so many calories that I didn't want to eat. I didn't like to eat. It wasn't fun. It wasn't good anymore. Like even the foods that you would like I got it on my IG, and we'll get the IG handles later. But there's a picture on there that shows this bowl. It's a cake mix bowl. full of oatmeal, and I had to eat every drop of it.
Okay.
On a day-to-day, that's what I had to eat for breakfast. And after the first week, I'm like, look, I'm a little tired of eating this stuff. But at that point, it was necessary to put the weight on.
Now let me ask you another question. Well, first of all, you got the 3 workouts, right? I'm trying to give my peoples a little structure,
yeah.
right? So they're getting the workout in the morning, which was the stairs, right? So it's basically a cardio workout in the morning. They're doing a cardio routine in the morning. You guys can do as you please your cardio routine. Midday, you were going to the weight room, or were you going to boxing?
Nope, midday was going
to the weight room, and then in the evening, they were doing their boxing training.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we had
now
to do
how
it.
about sparring days?
Sparring days, typically, when it was either, and we would sometimes switch it depending on the situation. No, most of the time it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We would do the sparring.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Now, how was the sparring? Was it hard sparring, or was it technical sparring?
Always intense.
There was never easy sparring.
No, it was very rarely that we even. And it was like sometimes we would go, and there would be days where we would go other gyms to spar, especially if like Tyson wasn't fighting. Because normally we would have that sparring in our gym with us, but every once in a while there would be a guy saying, "Hey, Eddie Chambers. I heard Eddie Chambers is over there. Will we be able to get a little work?" And I would go to the Smith gym or just different gyms in the area. Maybe even go a little further and work with some guys. So yeah, there was things where things changed up a little bit, but for the most part, it was pretty static, and we were always sparring on like Monday, Wednesday, Friday type situation.
Okay.
So it was good. No, my fault. No, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday was the sparring days, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
All right, cool.
So, yeah, but it's pretty static. It was. And
on sparring days, are you still working out 3 days a week?
Yeah.
3 sessions a day. But there's no way you're doing the weight room before the sparring.
Yeah.
So hold on, you're doing the cardio, you're lifting weights 5 days a week?
Let me think. Yeah, we would do different body parts. I think it was only 1 day a week. We didn't do 1 day a week apart from Sunday.
So
we didn't do
you're
anything.
doing a weight training routine midday,
and
then you're sparring in the evening after 2 hard workouts?
Yes.
That's tough.
Bro.
See, I would never structure it that way, but that's tough.
But when I tell you, that's what I said. And then remember the circuit. Now, the circuit day, we would do just the circuit. That would be a combination of cardio and weights. So we did do 1 day that was only a two a day workout, but the circuit was so intense that would kill you.
Now I got a question. Sounds like you guys are working out hard.
Yeah.
Why does Tyson Fury look so out of shape with his shirt off for a guy like that works out this hard? Like, no disrespect, Tyson. I mean, you're obviously part of the family. Why does he look this way, dog? Like, he looks like somebody who does not work out, first of all. Yeah. Second of all, I don't see any muscle definition, right? So it's one thing to be like fat brolic, because you've been like that.
Yeah, of course.
I've seen Eddie, when Eddie was kind of like a little bit heavy, like in the stomach, he also still had deltoids, pause. I don't know why I said pause, it sound crazy. Biceps, like, he still had definition, I should say, right? So why the hell doesn't Tyson Fury have definition if this is how he's been working out before you got there?
And he's strong, and it just doesn't look it. I mean, certain people have issues with, building muscle to that degree, and I think a lot of it, and the same thing was with me early on, was the diet. The diet is just,
why were they feeding him so much? Like, if you know that he has a lot of body fat, why not say, let's pull back on the calories a little bit, or let's choose better food so he can cut up and look the part, a little bit? Like,
remember when he first came back after after the whole David Hay situation where he retired for a while, when he came back, he was over 300 pounds. Well over 300, maybe like close to 350. He had 3 tires around his waist.
That was around the time he was going through his depression and all that?
Exactly. Okay. So, that was after Klitschko, I think, but this was before Klitschko when I was working with him right after it was like right after the Hay situation.
Okay.
I think he even briefly retired then because he was so sick of the sport because of the bull crap. But anyway, he had like 3 tires around the waist. He was like 340, 350. So when he came back, it was like more of almost like a fat camp on top of, trying to, get his boxing right and get in shape and be ready for a fight. So he was trying to lose weight as well because this is crazy. On Sunday, this is after we done worked out 6 days a week hard. On Sunday when we was in France, he was going to run 10 miles, bro. 10
And you didn't go with him?
I'm already ready to quit after we already did. Shit, 10 more miles? Nah, bro, I'm good.
Okay.
But we didn't have to do it because we weren't, like, heavy. He was trying to get down to a respectable weight before it was time to fight. So, yeah, but Tyson, and then I'm telling you, this dude in camp, 3 tires around his waist. After we land there, after the circuit like this, almost dead, this dude still bouncing around, ready to hit the pads, ready to work. Like, come on, guys, let's go. I'm sitting there like, what is he on? I'm looking at, man. I'm like, this dude crazy.
But this is what I've been saying to people. I think I mentioned this to you, that being in shape is simply a mind-body connection,
Fact.
right? So, like, this is the example I like to tell people. You get a guy who he bodybuilds. Let's just use that, right? Bodybuilding. He looks phenomenal. He's in shape. He can lift heavy weights. Take a boxer, put him in the weight room. The boxer could barely freaking bench, could barely perform a squat with weight on his back, right? But then you take that bodybuilder, put him in a boxing ring. He's tired in 30 seconds, and this boxer can box, let's just say, 12 rounds. Who's in shape, right? Like, they're both doing exercise, but one guy's in shape in his field where another guy's in shape in his field, right? So all it basically comes down to a mind-body connection. The body, the physicality of how you look is a byproduct of good nutrition alongside the exercises, right? Because you look at a marathon runner and look at a sprinter, right? Like, the body, you're going to get a different look, but you're going to still be in great shape in your own way. And a lot of the times it's the exercises that you choose and the nutrition that will define how your body turns out, or who's in shape, right? So it's really a mind-body connection, and then your choice of how you want to look. You know, some guys want to look a certain way, so they got to do certain things. Other guys want to perform a certain way, so you got to do certain things. So it comes down to performance versus aesthetics, and it comes down to your mind and your body basically connecting. You know what I mean? Because like we're basketball, right? A basketball player has cardio similar to a boxer, but they'll get tired boxing, and a boxer will get tired playing basketball if you never played basketball before. I know, I've tried it. I'm like, damn, this is kind of difficult. You know, I've even tried jiu-jitsu where I'm like, damn, I thought my cardio was going to be incredible here. I'm getting tired. And those same jiu-jitsu guys come to box, and they're getting tired. So, again, it's just your mind-body connecting. So it sounds like Tyson Fury, being a guy who has done that routine for so long, his mind and his body's already connected, even though he doesn't look. Even though he doesn't look it. So it can fool the average guy who doesn't know much about fitness and nutrition. Might say, oh, that guy's out of shape.
Of course.
Come to find out, this guy's actually in great shape. It's just that he didn't do certain things to make his body look a certain way.
Right, and you look at James Toney. James Toney as a heavyweight, not as a lighter weight guy, but as a heavyweight, he looked like, what is going on with him? But he in there slugging it out for 12 rounds.
And he's a guy who used to spar his way into shape. So I bet you take him to do sprints, he'll get tired. You probably take him to do the marathon runs, he'll get tired, right? You make him to do, but you put him in a boxing ring, he could box you for 12 rounds. Easily. And he won't even, he could do it, probably box 3-4 different guys because he's so accustomed to just boxing. So his mind and his body's connected for competing, for fighting, and that's how he liked to train. And that's a whole nother topic because, I mean, there's drawbacks to that as well. I mean, there's repercussions to everything, But, 1,000,000%. But yeah, man. So anyway, that's a lot that we just gave you guys on the whole Tyson thing. But okay, so let's just talk about that for a second. I know that we still haven't even talked about our predictions. I know you guys are getting ready for that, but I just want to give you guys a little bit more of an insight about what it's like. So from your mentality, fighting at this magnitude, you fought Vladimir Klitschko, obviously one of the biggest fight of your career. How many people was in that arena when you fought him?
Over 50,000.
Okay, over 50,000 people. Eddie's had the opportunity to fight in front of 50,000 people. And, we all know the outcome, so we're not going to stress on that. But what I do want to talk about more so is the mentality leading up to a fight like that, the pressure. How does that, matter of fact, we can't talk, I don't want to talk about how the fight ended, because for those of you guys who follow Eddie Chambers know he didn't win that fight, but I do want to talk about the bounce back. You know what I mean? After losing a fight, because Tyson Fury obviously lost to Usyk.
Yeah, that's another.
You know what I'm saying? He was on top of the world. He loses to Usyk. Now Usyk's the man, right? So talk to us a little bit from a fighter's perspective of the preparation and then dealing with a loss.
Well, the preparation can leave no stone unturned when you're getting in the ring with a guy like a Klitschko or any high level fighter anyway. You know, you got to make sure that you're doing everything you can. You're in the best shape possible, but also that you're willing to listen too. When it's time to shut it down or pull back on certain things, you got to be able to listen to your people. They know what's best for you while you're in there. And a lot of people were sometimes, a lot of fighters don't know how to look to a coach and ask a question or tell them, hey, I'm kind of hurting here, or I got this issue, or I got that issue. Because in the camp with Vladimir, I did something. I was lifting and I think I was deadlifting. I was deadlifting and I was deadlifting a pretty high number. It was like five something. And I was pulling up, and in those sets we were taking like 2-minute rests because, you know, you got to recover from that exertion. So, you know, I guess I got a little cold and I started feeling a muscle tear, and I dropped the weight immediately. It felt like it was tearing. And so I had to like kind of pull back a little bit, and I couldn't not say anything. I had to tell my people like, hey, I got a little issue here. You know what I mean? So I started getting in the tub and doing different things to recover, and it never really became a problem, but that just goes to tell you need to say something if something happens. You got to be really transparent with your people. So, you know, it's important to know when to shut it down just as much as knowing how to, you know, work hard and push through and persevere. That's all important, but you got to be able to do both. You know what I'm saying? Right. So with that, I did everything I was supposed to do. I ate what I was supposed to eat or what I was told to eat at the time. I ignored all of the things that were on the outside, people calling you, put your phone up at a certain time. That was all the rules. Didn't see none of the girls I was trying to, none of that stuff. Everything was focused on that man, especially. And that's a regular thing. That's not even that's not even a big deal. That's always the case when you're getting ready for a fight. But with him, it was, and with this magnitude of a fight, it was magnified by 10 at least. So, I took care of business. I did everything that I could. Maybe the information wasn't what we needed. Maybe I didn't go about it the way. Maybe I didn't execute the plan the way I needed to. But, we did what we could at the time. And, we got all the way to 12, got caught. But, things happen.
But my thought process is, as a fighter getting ready for that, are you nervous? Are you excited? Okay, so you're nervous. When do the nerves, are you nervous in the camp? Are you nervous on days of training, saying to yourself stuff like, damn, man, I don't know if I did enough today, or damn, man, I don't know if I'm ready for this fight in 3 weeks, man. Damn, should I pull out now? Pause.
No.
Is there is that the mentality, or do the nerves just kick in when you're walking from the back to the ring, to the ring when you're walking out to actually fight? Is that when the nerves kick in?
I'll say this.
For you as a fighter.
For me as a fighter, it used to be the week of the fight, I'm going through it a little. Once I got to the high level and I start fighting in main events where you show up to the arena at 8 o'clock and everybody else had to be there at 6, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Or at 9, whenever you show up an hour before it's time to get in. I wasn't, the day of the fight I would be nervous, but once I got to the point where I was about to have the ring walk, I felt confident. I felt ready. You know what I mean? But I would still be nervous, but I felt ready. In camp, it was more, when you start to really dominate, especially in sparring, you start really feeling good. You start feeling like, yeah, I'm ready I'm going to take this guy apart. Or at least you feel that way. And like I said, once you get to the fight night, I remember when I was getting ready for Vladimir, in the corner, in the dressing room, I'm sitting there and I'm just, you're going through things and you're praying, all kind of different things. You're worried, you're nervous, you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, you don't want to talk, and then this is the crazy thing about, doing these kind of sports, and there's fans, and you love the fans, and you respect the fans, you want the fans to want to see you, you want them to want to be able to meet you and all of that stuff, but at that moment, you're so focused on what you have to do that sometimes it can be a bit of a distraction. And I remember certain people were coming to the back, and I'm a nice guy, so you know what I mean. I gotta kind of engage with them and make them feel like it's okay to be there, even though I didn't want them there at that moment. And
it was your team's job to make sure that didn't happen.
100%.
Yeah.
But also as a fighter too, this is something for the young fighters to understand, is that you got to say something too. Just like I said about the injuries, you got to say something about how you feel. You don't want to get into a fight situation or a fight and be nervous and be mentally screwed up because of all of the things that are going on around you. You don't want to be distracted. You want to be able to focus on the fight. However you are able to get your bearings and keep your mind focused on being able to get to the destination of the fight, only just getting there. And then on top of that, to win, you got to have your mind focused, and you don't want to have all these distractions. Whatever it is, it could be, like I said, if people coming into the dressing room, you're like, man, I really don't want to talk to nobody right now. Shit, I barely want to talk to my trainer. You know what I mean? And these people are coming in here, and what happens if I lose? You start thinking about that. Will they even ask how I feel, or am I hurt, or they're not going to care nothing about me once I lose? And you start thinking about this stuff. You don't want that in your mind. You want to be confident. You want to be focused, and you want to take care of the business. You don't want to have anything else going on. So I remember those things happening in the dressing room, and then me going, once I start talking to my brother Steve, and we start, going over stuff and what we doing. And
Steve Ups. Shout out to Steve Upshur, another professional fighter who fought Andre Berto. Luis Collazo. Yeah.
A lot of. He got a lot of. He had a pretty good career too, no doubt.
From Pittsburgh. Yep. Shout out to him.
My man. But he started, breathing that positivity, and he made me feel more comfortable. And then, we go out and we go up the steps to the arena where it is, and then you see a sea of people, like, the flashing lights and all that. And I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Man,
as a fighter, it's gotta be crazy because as a coach, even I get some of those jitters, like especially when it's like they come to the back and go, okay, get ready. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's time to walk out there, and you're just like, okay, it's time now. You know what I mean?
All this questions about the fighter. What is it like from a coach's perspective? Because I know what it's like from being a fighter. I haven't been in, coaching at the level you have. I haven't been coaching long at all.
Right.
So from a coach's perspective, what is the nerves? And of course, there's a lot of things, like you were in Ray's corner. Mm-hmm. When he fought for the title, and he was down. He was fighting. That was a heck of a fight. And he came back and won. What was it what came up in your head to make you say what you said, to get that reaction from him?
Oh man, for me, honestly, what's crazy? The nerves for me as a coach is the ring walk.
Right.
Like for me as a coach, like when I'm walking to the ring, I'm thinking, okay, I got to give this guy the right instructions. I got to make sure that I'm totally honest with him, because so many bad things can happen to a fighter.
Facts.
And at the end of the day, when these things happen, the first person they look at is the coach. You know what I mean? First of all, they're going to look at the preparation. Second, they're going to definitely pay attention to the instructions. And nowadays, they mic you up and everything, right? So it's like, I know that you guys are going to hear the stuff that I'm saying to him. So for me, my thing as a coach that I basically have learned along the years is just true honesty. So like with Ray, I was just honest with him from the very beginning, and I was able to make the adjustment from him trying to box in that fight. For you guys who don't know what fight I'm referenced to, it was Raymond Ford versus Odebek. I forget how to pronounce his full name, but Odebek. There was a fight that we were down on, and Raymond, we changed the game plan early, and things started to work out in our favor. It was a tough fight all the way, and Raymond got the knockout within the last last 3 seconds of the fight. He stopped Odebek. But to make a long story short, as a coach, man, I think just being truly honest, because this is the issue that a lot of coaches fall into, in my opinion. A lot of coaches, they want to protect their position, and they'll do anything to protect their position, become yes men. You know what I'm saying? Like, just say anything just so they don't lose their job, because not all coaches have done what I've done. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I built a strong online presence. Right. I've been a businessman. I own a gym, right? So I don't necessarily need a fighter to give me the money, even though I do love to get paid, right? Like anybody. But I'm not working a corner necessarily just for the money. So for me, it's about the safety of the fighter. And when you got a fighter in front of you who can execute, you know, you have to be honest with them. We want to be honest with a fighter because at the end of the day, if you lied to your fighter, it could work against you. You know what I mean? I mean, have you ever been in a situation where you felt your team might not have been fully honest with you?
I think I did, but it was the other way. My dad would always kind of make me feel like I was doing terrible, even if I was winning. I could have been dominating. I would have to go to my guys, like my cut man and
but not to cut you off on that, but I think that that's another thing. Like a coach, you become kind of like a psychologist in a sense. So you have to know your athlete. So if you know that your athlete responds better to negative instructions, unfortunately, that might be the route that you have to go. You may have a fighter that you say something like your father was saying to you, and you crush them. There's fighters who can't take that.
That's true.
Like a fighter, hey, you suck, you're a bum. They don't want to get off the stool now because you basically just broke them down. Other fighters like you, nah, what? All right. And you go out there and you accomplish the task. So for you, it was actually the way that he groomed you, and that's kind of what you responded to. And other guys, you may have to speak to them a little bit more uplifting. You may have to lie to them and say, you're doing great, man, and they start doing better somehow, even though they were losing, because you're just giving them positive reinforcement. So I think the only way to learn that is to have that personal relationship with that fighter for a certain amount of fights even, because, or a certain amount of time, I should say, because you're going to find all that stuff out in the gym. You know what I mean? Everything gets found out in the gym. Like, you know, that's why, like, a lot of times, like, some of these fighters, you know, they get cornermen who didn't work in the gym with them. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's just like, dude, how is that even going to work? Like, you don't know anything about this guy. You don't know. You could go get the best coach in the world. If I don't know anything about this fighter, if I never worked with him before, I don't know what he responds to. I don't know the things that he's able to pull off. How am I going to give him instructions in the corner and be truly successful? It's like, I got to know this guy.
Absolutely. I have a relationship with him. It's just me as a fighter. I've only had, 3-4 trainers in my entire career. There's a lot of guys who change trainers like they change their underwear. You know what I'm saying? So with me, I always had a good relationship with my trainers. They were, first one was my dad. Then I was working with James Ali Bashir. Then I'm working with Peter Fury for a bit. And I come back with Bashir. Then I'm working with Ant, who's one of my closest friends. Like, I got to have a relationship with you and have respect for you to that degree and really believe that you got my best interests at heart. And I know, even though Peter Fury wasn't necessarily family, Peter really made me feel like I was. Yeah. And I had that relationship with him. So for a whole year, I felt like I was literally at home, even in another country. But it's important to have that relationship. If you don't have that relationship, it's gonna feel clunky and weird.
I never understood trainers who, just let their guys go out there for a check or, stuff like that. Because for me, it's just like, or take a guy that they know they're not fully prepared just so they can go ahead and get the fight off. Because for me, it's kind of like, that kind of falls on you as a coach. Like, that's going to tarnish your name. Like, you should want to protect your reputation at all times. Like, I'm not saying you always got to be with a guy who's going to win, because as coaches, our fighters, unfortunately, not always going to win. You know what I'm saying? And you can't be the kind of coach that only works with the winners necessarily. Sometimes you have to take the tough assignment. And your job as a coach is to try to get them to do the best they can or win, or it should be to win. But, imagine if I was a coach who said, oh, you suck, I can't work with you, or you suck, I can't work with you, or you suck. It's kind of like, well, Coach Ant only works with accomplished, good fighters. Like, you have to be willing to take on some of these guys that aren't necessarily the cream of the crop. Sure. However, you shouldn't send them out if they're not prepared. And that's all you can do as a coach, is send your fighter out fully prepared, so they can go ahead and, defend themselves to the best of their capabilities. You know what I'm saying? And
as the fighter, all you can do is go out there and listen to your coach, take with instructions, stop arguing, because there's a lot of fighters who like to argue, do what's necessary to be in the best possible shape and best prepared that you can be as a fighter. There's no other thing that you need to do necessarily. Leave the rest up to your trainer.
All right, so that's a lot. That's a lot that we just went over. Let's talk about the fight, Eddie. I know people are sitting
Let's
there
get to
like,
that.
yo,
Yeah.
man, these guys going to get to the damn fight.
Yeah, let's get to it.
I picked Tyson Fury to win the first fight. I know you picked Tyson Fury to win the first fight, but I'm going to be honest with y'all. And Eddie, you know this.
Yeah.
In the second round, I seen Oleksandr Usyk landing a couple of good shots. And I said, he's going to drop him with that shot, Eddie.
He did.
And Eddie was like, I don't know. And then later on in that same, so even though I picked Tyson to win, I saw something in that fight early that was like, hold up, this might not go so good for Tyson. Going into this fight, Eddie, I know that you're a big Tyson guy. I know that you're always going to support your guy. But let's just say hypothetically, you didn't go out there and he didn't treat you like family. You just didn't know the guy.
Right. Would I still choose him?
Would you still choose him for this rematch? Do you think that he's going to win this rematch against Usyk? And if he does, how is he going to do it? Let it rip.
Tyson's a really confident guy. And
So you don't think this tarnishes confidence?
I think if it tarnishes, if it did tarnish it a bit, I don't. I really don't.
Even with the Ngannou fight, like he went from Ngannou not looking great, right? We all expected him to dominate Ngannou. He looked suspect, and then he fought Usyk, fought a fantastic first half of the fight,
exactly,
but then got dropped, and then he didn't get stopped though. It went
it
went 12 rounds.
He lost by what, a point? It was close. It was extra, and he won the 12th round, which is crazy.
Yeah,
but that lets me know with him, he's always in the fight. His mind is always on winning. He's always on, doing the job. And as goofy as he may act sometimes, some of the stuff he does, this is one of the things that I always said to him. Like, I was like, you could be one of the greatest. You just gotta know when to turn off the fun. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you gotta be like a robot to a degree. You gotta do the right things and check all the boxes without making any mistakes. And I think he was having a little bit too much fun. He was actually having an easy time in the middle rounds and thinking, oh, okay, cool, I'm having fun with this guy. He ain't do nothing to me. And then all of a sudden, Usyk said, okay, I see he kind of laxing a little bit. That left hand reaching him a little more. And then boom, there go the big shot. And then he goes down. And it's all because of that. And then those next few rounds are based on trying to recover. And it's all because you lost focus for just a moment. And trust me, I know what it's like to lose focus for just a moment, and it costs you. So with him, I think even with that, he knows he can beat him. He knows that he should be able to beat him, and he knows he should beat him going away. But he just has to stay focused. Like, go have fun. That's part of your game. Have fun and do that. But when things start getting tight and you start feeling a couple shots coming over, go back to what got you to where you were. Box, keep him at bay, clinch, don't give him a turn. That's just the way things should go. And Tyson, the way he is, with his ability to move, his ability to box, his size, pause, it shouldn't be close. It really shouldn't be. And that's not to say that Usyk isn't a great fighter. It's just a good big man beat a great small man. That's just the way it is. And, I had to succumb to that theory at some point in the years past, but it is what it is, man.
So you're picking Tyson in the rematch.
I'm picking him for sure, but he just has to make sure he follows the game plan. Don't get too happy when he's up. Don't get too high on your highs and lows on your lows. You know what I mean? And if he does that, he should be able to win the fight.
This is such a hard fight for me to pick, man. I gotta be honest because everything for me in this fight leans toward Tyson. I thought that he boxed beautifully in the rounds that he did box beautifully. He has shown to have not a terrible chin, but a chin that can be touched and he will fall. He's been dropped. He's been dropped by.
But he will get up too,
and he will get up. That's the crazy part. Yeah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he kind of got like a long count for that fight. He could have got stopped.
Well,
he could have got stopped in two of his fights. Deontay Wilder fight, you could have argued that referee could have waved it the minute he hit the ground, and then the Usyk fight. I feel if I can't remember, I'm trying to remember the fight. Like I didn't watch the fight since the fight.
He was hurt.
He was
really bad to the point where he was stumbling across the ring. At some point, they could have stepped in. That is true.
Yeah.
A lot of people say if it wasn't him, they would have stepped in.
Yeah.
But just like Wilder, when Wilder was fighting Ortiz, there was a point.
No. Yeah, exactly. Same situation. But this is the thing I want to talk about, though. When Tyson Fury fought Wilder, right, and he got dropped or whatever, it went 12 rounds, he was doing the same thing, trying to box a beautiful fight, and he got clipped twice in that fight. Usyk, he did the same thing, boxing a beautiful fight, doing fantastic from the outside, got caught, got clipped. When he rematched Wilder, he went straight bulldozer, went right to him.
Taking him apart.
He said, I'm going to just beat him up, put my weight on him. He didn't box, he beat him up.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. That's what Tyson Fury did to Wilder in the rematch. He just overwhelmed him with just physicality.
And in the third fight, same
Yeah,
thing.
you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Okay, right?
Yeah.
Is that going to be the approach against Usyk in this fight? Because I don't know if Usyk's the guy you could do that with. Usyk is skilled enough, hits hard enough, obviously, is a southpaw, you know, and is confident because he already hurt this guy. So does Usyk have a different sort of confidence coming into this fight that, you know what, I know I could hurt this guy. Maybe Usyk gets Tyson out of there even quicker. He didn't get him out of there at all, but maybe he stops him this fight because he's like, dude, I know I could stop you. I could have stopped you in the last fight, but I was giving you so much respect because you're Tyson Fury. Now I know what I could do to you. I'm going to start a little sooner, rev the engine a little earlier, and Tyson Fury has to deal with that from a smaller southpaw who's fast, who's awkward, who's hard for him to read and gauge the shots. Yeah. Is that how the fight can go?
It can. It absolutely can. There's no question about it.
Because I can't see Tyson manhandling. I just can't see him doing that. Like, I just can't. Like,
well, no,
not against Usyk. He's just not the guy to do that with.
Remember, Tyson is crafty too. Like, let's not forget that. And even though he's a big man, he actually isn't bad on the inside. I mean, with other big men too. But this is a little bit of a different pause. There's a little bit of a different situation,
right?
Because he's a little smaller. Anyway, he's a smaller heavyweight,
right?
So him coming in to him, giving up his advantage, his size, would be, I guess, a lot of people say would be foolish, especially in the first fight when he got clipped. But he got clipped going out, not necessarily going in. You understand what I'm saying? What I think Tyson needs to do is be defensively conscious constantly. He needs to have his hands in the right place. He needs to be responsible defensively the entire time. Look for the counters, look for the opportunities. Because remember, Usyk has to cover a certain amount of ground to get to him. If he can get him to lunge, to reach, which he was doing in the first fight in those counters, namely the uppercut, were really good shots that he threw during that time. If he can continue that trend, force him to try to reach him, he's going to run into a lot of stuff. Yeah. And that's what he was doing in the fight, and then he got away from it, started clowning, and then here comes that Usyk onslaught. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, that can absolutely, what you said, can actually happen again. It can.
I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen, because if you put a gun to my head right now and said pick somebody, I'm gonna pick Tyson Fury. And the reason I'm gonna pick Tyson Fury is just because he was doing so many good things in that first fight that just says to me, if he doesn't get caught, he's gonna win the fight. If he doesn't get caught. Yeah. But with a major freaking exclamation mark, I would not be surprised if Tyson Fury loses or even gets stopped. And I only say that because Usyk's confidence level went up, and if he can get to Tyson earlier, sooner, and apply that pressure, he may dominate Tyson Fury to a point where you're kind of like, what did I just witness? Like, did he just beat Tyson Fury like that? I would not be surprised, only because Tyson Fury is just a questionable guy. Like, this is such a, like, I feel really bad for you guys out there who are betting on this fight. This is a very bad fight to want to be confident with your bet. Because it's one of those fights where it's like you can see either guy winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I
It's
really
50-50
think
fight.
it's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah.
Even though Usyk won the first fight,
it's
it's
still
still a
50-50.
50-50 fight because, again, Tyson, to me, just did the better stuff in that fight until he got caught. Usyk did do some good stuff, but I think Tyson Fury was definitely winning the fight. And from what I can remember, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
I could watch it again, and maybe I might feel slightly different, but I don't. I mean, from what I remember, Tyson Fury was winning the fight, and he just got caught, and then he, like you said, he fought himself back into it, and
Even in 12th, yeah.
and he's got the capability to win this decision.
You know what's crazy? Think about that Wilder fight. He went and got dropped crazy like that, got up, and would have won the 12th round after he got dropped if had not got dropped in that round. Think about that. So the same thing happened in the Usyk fight. Just he didn't come out as a winner or with a draw.
Right.
He was losing. He started. He was. I guess he at that point started to become down on the cards or whatever. Got dropped in I think the 10th. Lost the 11th because he was still pretty hurt. Coming in the 12th, wins the 12th round. So if we're looking at the last looks, who won that last round that they was in? Tyson did.
Yeah.
So if we go in 24 rounds, it's like, yo, he got momentum right now. As long as he don't get hurt, who wins the rest of that fight if they're going 24 rounds?
Yeah. And
you understand what I'm saying?
And Tyson Fury's the kind of guy that it seems like he handles those situations pretty well. I mean, the man came back from a terrible depression, and changed his whole life around. He came back from getting dropped in fights in the past and looked better in the rematches. So, Usyk, super incredible fighter. I mean, like I said, in my opinion, the best resume in boxing, whether you agree with me or not. Southpaw, tricky fighter, smaller fighter, which can be an advantage. I mean, Eddie's proof of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And being taller could be an advantage. Tyson Fury's proof of that. Yeah. So, it's all about who can execute. But I think that I'm going to go ahead and give Tyson the benefit of the doubt that he wins this rematch in a technical fight. I don't see him stopping Usyk. I see him winning a technical decision, a unanimous decision, maybe like a 116, 113, 116, 112 type deal, something along those lines. But let me add a caveat. I can see Usyk maybe stopping Fury at some point in this fight. Or winning clearly as well. But if you had, I just want to protect my prediction here. I want to let you know that I'm picking Tyson. I'm going to stand on that. Okay, I'm going to stand on Tyson. However, I would not even remotely surprised if Usyk stopped Tyson or wins in dominating fashion. Due to just the momentum being on his side, the confidence being on his side, and Tyson Fury retiring after this fight. I would just not. Or we could be seeing a great trilogy between these guys that'll carry on into 2025. So that's my final prediction.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I'm pretty much on board with that. I think Tyson will win decision, probably going away, probably a little, like you said, about 8-4, maybe even a little higher, maybe 9-3. But as long as he sticks to the game plan, whatever that game plan is, barring that that game plan works, because that doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to work. But if he sticks to the plan of using his size in a way that's beneficial, keeping Usyk in the middle. And what I mean by in the middle, I mean right in his firing zone, and not allowing him to close the gap and pulling out with his hands down. If he doesn't do those things and he keeps him in the middle like that and looks to land that uppercut to the body and to the head, Usyk gonna have a hell of a time getting close, and he's gonna be taking extreme chances closing the gap. And there could be a time in there he gets dropped, he gets hurt. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to go like that. So I think that's why I said 8-4, 9-3, maybe even get a drop in there somewhere, maybe a little, maybe a little stagger. You never know. But Tyson has to be on point because this ain't going to be no easy fight, even if the score is that wide.
Yeah, I think there's a high chance that it's going to look up very similar to the first fight. But I just think that there's a high chance that Tyson Fury's hand's going to get raised this time. And I'm expecting him to fight a third time. So it should be a very interesting, definitely a very interesting fight. We'll definitely be talking about this fight after it's done. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. So I want to say thank you for joining us to the Boxing Life Podcast. This is where we're going to be talking about big boxing matches like what we just discussed today, the mindset, the stuff behind the scenes, the discipline, the nutrition, the skill sets, all the different things to help you improve your boxing knowledge and your boxing skills. Of course, if you guys want to get more in depth and really learn world-class techniques from the beginning stages of boxing, even to the more elite levels, check out CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. I got 16 courses on there alongside Fast Eddie Chambers, who's in there demonstrating, showing you guys stuff, real practical techniques that is going to help you in the gym, help you in your sparring, and or even just help you learn the craft, from the privacy of your own home. You can go to the gym, work on that stuff, you know what I mean? And maybe you don't have a coach. Maybe you just train yourself, or maybe you do have a coach, but he's not always helping you. You may want to expand your knowledge and maybe get a different perspective. I highly suggest that you consider it. All right, so you guys already know. Go ahead and learn some of these boxing techniques. You guys can go to CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. If you guys want to learn more about our gym that's located here in Florence, New Jersey, you can go to CABoxing.com, and you can find me on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, at Coach Anthony. And, of course, my YouTube channel, Coach Anthony Boxing.
And me at Fast Eddie Chambers on Instagram and Facebook. The same, Fast Eddie Chambers, and TikTok's not quite picking up yet, but it will be, and I think it's at Fast Eddie Chambers too, so the same thing. So, yeah, we're going to get there.
All right, guys.